This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. Trife, Life to Lavish, by Deja King. Prologue. Escaping the madness. Charlotte, North Carolina, the past. "Get the fuck out of my house," Teresa screamed as she stood in the entrance of the bedroom door. Teresa's initial reaction was to drag the woman lying on her back out of the bed, but seeing the horrific shock on the woman's face made her quickly reassess that decision. Teresa and the other woman both seemed to be stuck on pause, and the only person being on fast forward was the man who continued getting his stroke on as if nothing was going to stop him from busting a nut. "Oh shit, I'm almost there," the man moaned, speeding up his pace as if oblivious to the fact that he had a viewing audience. Teresa couldn't believe she was watching as her husband fucked another woman right in front of her face. Immediately, flashback images consumed her. She thought back to all the bullshit she had been enduring for the last 6 years. In the beginning, Kevin seemed to be Teresa's saving grace. She had a baby girl, who was just over a year old, had no money, no job, and a bleak future. The landlord had given her an eviction notice, and Teresa was going to have to go live with her mother so she and her baby wouldn't be homeless. But that never happened, because Kevin swooped in and took on the role as her man, and a father to her daughter, Genevieve. Teresa was so enamored that when Kevin asked that she and the baby come back to live with him at his crib in Charlotte, she packed up and left Philly, the only place she had ever called home. Teresa felt like she had died and gone to suburban heaven when she first arrived at the handsome 2-story brick house on the tree-lined street. She had grown accustomed to living in drug-infested project buildings with hallways smelling like piss, and where trash replaced grass as landscaping. Inhaling the fresh, clean air in the South seemed like a life she would only daydream about, not actually live. But Teresa's daydreaming quickly turned into a never-ending nightmare after marrying Kevin. He was no longer her saving grace, but instead the cause of her demise. "What the fuck is you doing here? I thought you wasn't gonna be home for another hour," Kevin spit, after finally busting a nut and pulling himself out of the stiffened woman. Teresa's mind was so far gone with reflecting on the horrors of the past, that at first she didn't hear her husband. "Bitch, don't you hear me talking to you?" Kevin continued. "Nigga, fuck you," Teresa barked, coming out her daze. "You so damn trifling? You gonna bring another woman in my house and fuck her in my bed? I'm so sick of your disrespectful bullshit. I don't know what to do. I swear I had no idea he was married, or that this was your home," the fear-stricken girl who looked no more than 18 said, pleading her case to Teresa. She jumped out of bed, scrambling to get her clothes on, in an attempt to escape without the ass-whooping she assumed his wife was about to put on her. But unbeknownst to the teeny bopper, Teresa was beginning to grow so immune to her husband's revolting behavior that she refused to waste her energy on beating any of his women down. Plus, she believed the girl when she said she was clueless to Kevin's marital status. This here situation needed to be handled with one person, her husband. "You ain't got to explain shit to her. This my house. It ain't my fault she brought her ass back home early." Teresa stood with her eyes twitching. "This nigga is determined to have a throwdown up in this motherfucker, and I'ma give it to him. Little girl, I think it's best you go. I need to deal with my husband." The girl nodded her head in agreement with Teresa's request and leaped up to make an exit. "I'll call you later on," Kevin said, casually, making it clear he wasn't pressed about how pissed Teresa was. "Ma, who was that woman that just ran up out of here?" Teresa looked down at her 7-year-old daughter. With all the anger consuming her, she had forgotten she was there. "Genevieve."
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.